Our first reading this morning is Amos chapter 8, verses 4 through 7. Hear this, you that trample on the needy and bring to ruin the poor of the land, saying, when will the new moon be over, so that we may sell grain, and the Sabbath, so that we may offer wheat for sale? We will make the ephah small and the shekel great, and practice deceit with false balances, buying the poor for silver and the needy for a pair of sandals, and selling the sweepings of the wheat. The Lord has sworn by the pride of Jacob, surely I will never forget any of their deeds.
Our New Testament lesson is from the Gospel of Luke, chapter 16, verses 1 through 13. Then Jesus said to the disciples, there was a rich man who had a manager, and charges were brought to him that this man was squandering his property. So he summoned him and said to him, what is this that I hear about you? Give me an accounting of your management, because you cannot be my manager any longer. Then the manager said to himself, what will I do now that my master is taking the position away from me? I am not strong enough to dig, and I am ashamed to beg. I have decided what to do so that when I am dismissed as a manager, people may welcome me into their homes. So, summoning his master's debtor one by one, he asked first, how much do you owe my master? He answered, 100 jugs of olive oil. He said to him, take your bill, sit down quickly, and make it 50 jugs of olive oil. Then he asked another, and how much do you owe? He replied, 100 containers of wheat. He said to him as well, take your bill and make it 80. And his master commended the dishonest manager because he had acted shrewdly. For the children of this age are more shrewd in dealing with their own generation than are the children of light. And I tell you, make friends for yourselves by means of dishonest wealth, so that when it is gone, they may welcome you into the eternal homes. Whoever is faithful in a very little is faithful also in much, and whoever is dishonest in a very little is dishonest also in much. If then you have not been faithful with the dishonest wealth, who will entrust you to true riches? And if you have not been faithful with what belongs to one another, who can give you what is your own? No slave can serve two masters, for a slave will either hate one and love the other, or be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and wealth. The word of the Lord. Thank you, God. Amos is preaching to skimp on the measure, boost the price, cheat with dishonest scales, buying the poor with silver and the needy for a pair of sandals. But Amos is also preaching to us. Let us pray. O God, our deliverer, you cast down the mighty and lift up those of no account. You have chosen the power of the powerless as your witness, those whose voice is not heard. God of love and forgiveness, save us by your tenderness and your grace that we may serve you. Let these my words speak to the people in this place by the movement of the Holy Spirit. Amen. At some point in time, we've all heard that there are three things that you should not talk about with polite company, whether on a first date or with strangers. And those three things are politics, religion, and money. And here I am, and you all don't know me that well, and I'm getting ready to talk about those three things in some capacity. So wish me luck. Thank you. The narrative of the Old Testament follows an imperfect people, the Hebrew Hebrew people and their relationship with God. So occasionally people will talk about the God of the Old Testament being spiteful and that having been changed with Jesus. But we realize that time and time again, the Hebrew people fail and God still tries to show them the way, help them to do the right thing, and remind them that they are beloved children of God. God covenants with the Hebrew people from before the time of Moses through the rise of the kingdom under David and Solomon. And God continues to be with the Hebrew people after Solomon's death and the fall of the kingdom. After the kingdom falls, the northern part becomes the kingdom of Israel, and it is full of sin. The southern kingdom of Judah maintains the monarchy from David's line, but it is also full of sin. And so God sends prophet after prophet. Far before Jesus exists, far before we know that God so loved the world that he sent his only son, Jesus, we know that God loves these broken people and tries to teach them how to love. And it is in this climate that Amos begins to prophesy. Amos is from Judah and preached in the northern kingdom of Israel. He prophesied during a time of relative peace, but an intense neglect of God's laws. So Amos preaches, reminding people of God's power, threatens them with divine justice, and focuses on the disparity between the rich and the very poor. And as I said, Amos is also preaching to us. In our country, we hear a lot about the top 1%. Various politicians will talk about how the richest 1% own 90% of the wealth. And obviously holding that much wealth tends to be really unnecessary. But I'm going to venture to guess that none of us are part of that top 1% of 1%. But Amos is still preaching to us regardless of how much wealth we have. Amos is preaching to us today here. So let us endeavor to figure out what Amos is suggesting we do. The first and most obvious answer when you look at Amos and the entirety of the Bible is that we should serve God. But we all know that, right? If we're here, we may recognize how difficult that can be at times, but we know that that is our goal. And it's not always easy, and that's why we confess our sin collectively every week for a reason. But it does raise the question, how shall we serve? What does Amos and what does our passage from Luke tell us about how we should serve God? Let's start by defining what justice is. Rolf Jacobson, a professor of Old Testament at Luther Seminary, talks about the biblical concept of justice in a few different ways. He writes that first, justice starts with the very character of God. Justice is a part of the Lord's nature. In Isaiah 30, Isaiah writes, "The Lord is a God of justice." Second, in terms of the Old Testament, because the Lord has elected Israel as God's own people, the Lord demands that these people reflect God's character. That is, Israel must be a people of justice. We also know that justice is a social concept, that it has to do with the ordering of society with which most life can thrive. A more just society is one where as many people as possible can thrive, rather than just a few. Justice requires a special concern for the powerless, those who lack the capacity to protect their own welfare. In the Old Testament social concept, these powerless are described as the widow, the orphan, the needy, the poor. And finally, if we're looking at the biblical definition of justice, justice is a legal concept. The laws, the courts, and judgments of the legal system are about creating and maintaining justice. Here, it is good to recall that God uses the law in at least two ways. God uses the law for a civil purpose, to create a more civil society. But God also uses the law for a theological purpose, to remind human beings of their sin, and that even the most just people need grace and forgiveness. Doing justice is not how we earn God's grace. So, I repeat our question though, how should we serve? If justice is our goal, if we know that we want to create a society where as many people can thrive as possible, how are we called to steward our wealth? Amos condemns those who yearn for the end of the Sabbath just so that they can open their businesses again and continue to make money. It's well here to remember that Sabbath for the Jewish people is not just about worship, but it was a law given to them by God in our Ten Commandments, not just to the property owner, but to give rest to all people. Justice falls equally on all. In today's Luke passage, Jesus seems to praise a dishonest business manager who makes dishonest business decisions. Jesus recognizes that justice doesn't mean we need to completely turn away from the world. It doesn't mean we need to never spend money on things we want. But it means that we cannot love both God and money. To do justice, we must participate in a system that we recognize is unjust, but help as many people as possible to thrive. In Amos's day, the justice sense of the laws, whether that be the law of Sabbath or otherwise, has been lost. People longed for this justice establishing Sabbath, this rest that everyone could rest equally, to be over so that they could return to exploitation. The phrase buying the poor for silver and the needy for a pair of sandals refers to the practice of enslaving those in debt. Selling the sweepings of the wheat was prohibited because those were to be left for the poor. The task of translating the realities of Amos's social context into our social context is a challenge. I recognize that I am not preaching to the people who are necessarily themselves being exploitative. But we must recognize that the lesson from Amos is law in both uses of the law. It not only is condemning certain practices, but it is envisioning and imagining a society that operates more than according to just social norms. It operates according to God's principles of justice. The law cannot save, in part because it was not designed to save, but it can help create a world where God's justice can reign on all of us. It is good for us to remember, as St. Paul put it, that all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. We exist in a society that is unjust. We will never be able to completely distance ourselves from that. But we are justified by God's grace as a gift through the redemption in our Lord. And that means moving past the law and envisioning a just society for all. And as Cecilia put it, working together for good for the world.